Customs and Border Protection Senior Advisor and former Acting ICE Director Ron Vitiello joins me now. Lots going on, sir. Can you give me an update first on that manhunt?
Well, we know that the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the local and state law enforcement, and the federal partners are actively looking for this individual. Alvarado turned out to be a shooting where an officer was injured, but it was absolutely a planned attack. And so, you know, the person that's at large will be apprehended quickly because the entirety of the interagency is looking for him, and they need to be held to account for that violent attack on that installation, that ICE property detention center. That it needs to be taken care of.
You know, you're seeing so many of these things happen, sir. How do you connect the dots between the incidents we're seeing, what it means, where it's coming from, how it needs to be dealt with?
Well, these leftist politicians that are old enough to know better need to tone down the rhetoric. You'll remember, Brian, that they used to say they wanted to abolish ICE back in 2018. They talked about defunding the police in 2020. And now they want the rest of America to believe that arresting illegal aliens inside of the United States is somehow Gestapo tactics or is something that we shouldn't want in the United States, when in fact the laws that are on the books that these patriots are enforcing have been on the books for decades. The funding that they use to buy the cars and the trucks and the tactical vests to protect themselves have been funded by the same Congress members that are calling this kidnapping and Gestapo tactics. That needs to end. These politicians need to be held to account for the rhetoric that they're using, and we need to praise these patriots that are out there serving the American people. Their job is to keep the rest of us safe, and getting in their way and impeding their activity is not only harmful to them and their families, but it also is against the law, and they will be prosecuted for getting in the way.
Let's talk about that rhetoric, because Democrats continue to ramp up what they're saying as violence against your officers continue. Listen to this.
Are Democrats not meeting the moment, not doing enough to fight these developments?
Well, we are in a more is more environment in terms of the unprecedented assault on the American way of life and our country that has been launched by Donald Trump and compliant House Republicans.
It's terrorizing Americans, our friends and neighbors, otherwise known as immigrants, many of them.
They're going after anybody that is brown, that looks like me, that can't pass as what they say is a typical American. That's why you're getting people who are not undocumented actually arrested. That's the fear that exists, that anybody, doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not, could be arrested and held in detainment for a number of days.
You know, your officers are being accused of terrorizing and according to that one individual, racistly looking at people based on the color of their skin. How do you respond to that, sir?
Well, it's nonsense. It's ridiculous. And people have a responsibility to tell the truth. What those men and women are doing out there is risking their own lives. That's why they're wearing masks, because they were threatened online. Their families were threatened online. Their homes, their personal homes were targeted. And for these politicians and the propagandists in the leftist media that are talking about making this look like kidnapping, etc., they ought to know better. And they absolutely do know better, but they want to convince the American people that this work doesn't need to be done, when we all know that it needs to be done. That's why President Donald Trump is in the White House, because people voted for this kind of activity. The Secretary of Homeland Security has given the front line the tools that they need to succeed. They are out there succeeding, and the left is losing their mind over it.
It's irresponsible rhetoric, and it could be very, very dangerous. Ron Vitiello, thank you for joining us. Good to see you.